Hey guys, today we're going to go ahead and talk about using the discriminant, and this has to be talked about with the quadratic formula. So you notice here I have my quadratic formula, okay, and this middle part, this part on the inside here, that is underneath the square root, that is called the discriminant, okay, and I have three graphs here because what happens is you are able to determine how many solutions graph is going to have based on this value in here. Okay, so the first example here, you notice that the graph crosses it twice. Okay, the graph touches the x-axis at 2 points. That means it has two solutions. Well, when does that happen? Well, we can only take the square root of a positive number. Remember, anytime you take the square root of a number, you're going to have two solutions, a positive and a negative. So let's assume the result of in here was positive 4. Well, the square root of 4 is 2. So you're going to have two solutions, a plus 2 and a minus 2. So you're going to have two solutions. That means it's going to cross the x-axis at 2 points. Okay. Over here, when the discriminant is equal to 0, so when I plug in b squared minus 4ac, when I plug that in and I get the square root of 0, I'm going to have one solution. That means it's going to touch, or the graph is going to touch the x-axis at 1 point. And normally, it's always going to be the vertex. Okay? And this, remember, 0 is neither positive nor negative. It's just its entity by itself. So that's only one solution. Okay? And lastly, what happens if b squared minus 4ac is negative? Well, we cannot take the square root of a negative. Well, we're going to end up with an imaginary number. So what does that mean? It's no solution. And that means the graph cannot touch or cross the x-axis. Okay? So that's all that means. So remember, when the discriminant is positive, you're going to have two solutions. When the discriminant is equal to 0, you're going to get one solution. And when the discriminant is negative, that means you're going to have no solution because it cannot touch the x-axis. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at a few examples. Alright guys, I went ahead and wrote this out just the way you might see it in your textbook. And normally you're just going to see b squared minus 4ac greater than 0, equal to 0, or less than 0. Now I like to put the square root sign on the top because it makes sense when the students are trying to understand the concept. Okay, so I just have three examples here. I just made up some numbers. I don't know what I'm going to get. So I'm going to use a discriminant. So remember, x squared, this is your a, this is your b, and this is your c. X squared is always your a, the x is the b, and the letter by itself is the c. So b squared, let me see here. It's going to be negative 2 minus 4. Letter A is 3. And letter C is 1. So I'm going to go ahead and solve it. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. 4 times 3 times 1, that is 12. 12 times 1 is 12. So 4 minus 12. So this is going to equal negative 8. So negative 8. If I plug in negative 8 here, I cannot take the square root of a negative, so this is no solution. Okay, so that means this particular quadratic cannot or does not touch the x-axis. Alright, let's go ahead and try this one here. Same thing, b squared would be, you know what, we don't have a b, do we? Right here we had an x, so b is equal to 0. So let me put a equals 4, b equals 0, and c is negative 8. So let's see here, 0 squared minus 4, letter A is 4, and letter C is negative 8. And I think you can probably see what's going to happen. 0 squared is 0. Alright, negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. Whoops, let me just fix this real quick. negative 16 and negative 8. So negative times negative is going to be a positive. So 16 times 8, 80 and 48, so it's going to be 128, which doesn't really matter because I know it's going to be positive. So you have a positive solution, and if I plug this into here underneath my square root sign, we're going to get a plus and minus. We're going to get two solutions. So this particular graph is going to cross at 2 points. Okay, and let's go ahead and do our last one. Remember, this is my b, negative 3 minus number 4. Letter A is negative 2, and letter C is 1. Negative 3 squared is positive 9, and then negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8, so 17. Alright, so this one also is going to have two solutions, and it's going to cross the x-axis at two places. Alright, so that was easy. But remember, if it's a positive, if the discriminant is positive, you're going to get two solutions. If the discriminant is equal to 0, you're only going to get one. And if it's less than 0, that means if it's negative, then it's not going to cross the x-axis. Alright, class? Hopefully you understood that. Send me an email if you have any questions. Good luck.